Welcome to another episode of the Anthill Chronicles with LANCESCURV. This may not be too much of a long one today because the heat, the beautiful heat that I know I'm acclimated to now, is piping down so strong and I'm loving it. When I was coming out here every day, at first, it was a thing where I thought I was ready for it, but I wasn't, because it can pull so much out of you. And when the evening comes, for some reason, when the evening comes, it just pulls so much. And when it gets cooler, which is still warm, you just want to sleep. And right now, with us doing our night shows, I can't be too drained. Yesterday, in the evening, when we took a little run to the market to get some things, I felt so weak. It's because I was a little dehydrated. And when you're dehydrated, you usually get there before you realize it. You know, by the time your throat is dry, by the time you feel that overall pull, that's it. And I didn't come out to talk about those things, and I don't want to be so rude and have a piece of sugar-free gum in my mouth and talk. So I do that once a year. Get a couple pieces and chew it. I don't know why, once a year. But I want to speak about not being able to let go. Not being able to understand that you have left a time in your life that is over. And many of us on different levels, and I bought one rag, so excuse me for wiping with my hand, which are clean. But many of us fall victim to this in different areas and don't understand that when they throw off on somebody and say, ha ha ha, look at that man over there who, he's obviously 85 years old. He used to be a physical marvel when he was in his 20s, but he still thinks he's that person. So he has this cheap hair dye, this dark, cheap hair dye. His skin is already getting paler. No matter what complexion a person is, your skin does get pale as you get older, a little bit, even though black don't crack. And he's lying to himself with this cheap hair dye, and he's even being viewed at as the funny, amusing old man to the young ladies, because he gives them compliments, he's flattering them, and in his mind, he's trying to get with them. But the younger ladies look at him like, oh, he's charming, because he couldn't be thinking that. Yes, he is, because he can't let go and understand what phase of life that he's in. We have many women who are getting up in years, but there are certain parts of their body that should not be seen. Not with the tight revealing, I can see everything all up in this and I can see. They don't know how to let go. It's called dignity. It's called being a realist. Not that you are not supposed to feel sexy or attractive, but your mind should be somewhere else when you get to a certain phase in life. It doesn't mean you're going to wear these granny clothes, or for the men, it doesn't mean. I found a channel and I forgot to remember the name. I was just so transfixed when I saw this channel. And it was a brother who has this YouTube channel, and when I find it, I'll put it down below. And I got to give him props. This brother speaks about what is appropriate. Now, he's a man, so he's going to deal with male fashion issues. And when I say male fashion issues, he's not out there saying, well, this is the new fashion now, and this is what we need to wear. His niche market, his category, his slice of concern, his area of expertise is male fashion for the older man, the do's and don'ts. Certain things, or you can wear what you want, but certain things are not becoming on a man after 50, approaching 60 and above. And he makes a lot of sense how he breaks these things down. And I see a lot of people who are not aware. And this is not about fashion and about my brothers. I'm just using this as an example. Ooh, that breeze feels good. You notice it got dark because a cloud went over the sun, but that won't last long. But he breaks things down and explains why. Why? Men, one of them, he said, you might have been a person who played football in high school or even college. But it's unbecoming of a man when you get to a certain age, when you're walking around with football jerseys all day, every day. Like you get older, you still might be working, But as soon as you're off, you got the football jersey on. Weekend, the football jersey on. We know you're into football, and we're not saying every brother who wears that who is older, because you may have been that. You're the real deal. But if that's a way of recapturing your youth, it doesn't look right. You might be overweight now. You might not be there. And this is your identity. And maybe you still feel that you have one game in you where you will excel and be the superstar and be the talk of the town the next day. So we have to know, just like the old man with the cheap dye, just like the middle-aged woman who can't conceal her body parts because she thinks she's still that, and bringing unwanted attention on herself, because these guys, they'll try to hit anything and you're sending the wrong message out. We have to know when to let go. Does that mean quit? No. I'm always going to do what it is that I do. But I'm not going to lie to myself and tell everybody, yes, I'm going to be in shape the same way I was in October '82 when I won the Teenage Mr. America. And I'm going to no, but I want to get in very good shape for what I have left in the tank right now. You can always do that. Because when you refuse to know when to let go, and again, I didn't say quit, it just means evolve. You'll hurt yourself. You'll lose out on true living in real life because you're trying to prove to yourself, and my towel just fell down. I'm not even going to cut this part out. The wind blew it off, and if I don't have it on top of the camera is going to overheat, and that'll be a wrap. And this will be a really short video because I don't know how long it takes for it to, there we go. We'll leave it right there. That's how hot it is out here. And I have to figure out what temperature it is. Whatever it is, it goes beyond the physical temperature, because you can say, oh, over here in Florida, it's the same temperature. This is a different heat. This is Africa heat. And this is why many of our ancestors who were brought over to the Americas for the purpose of free labor for these pink parasites to build their empire that stands today, American heat, from what I could see, was child's play. That's like, oh man, this is cool out here. And they can't take that. But just like the channel where the gentleman dedicated his life to sharing with us older guys, not old, but aging, getting older, and I embrace that, right? He's doing us a favor. We need that. And we need other people in our lives to be able to say, listen, brother, not just on the fashion level, you know you're 65 years old. You know you have a wife at home. We know your body parts may not be working the way they used to be working. Why is it? And we know that maybe your wife doesn't look the same way as she did in her early 20s, but you don't either. Why are you getting these little blue pills and going out there into the world to prove something to who? It's not about these young ladies out here who are so much into you. They might be so much into your pocket. I'm not saying everybody, but we know how life goes. It's a trade-off. You're spending money paying for this young lady's rent or mortgage. You're taking her out. You're doing all of this. You're spending all this money. And you're doing so because you got something to prove to yourself. And you're exhausting yourself because you can't let go. I am so happy that I am not the person that I used to be in my late teens and early 20s as far as the activities and how much of the indoor calisthenics that I did after hours. I wish now I can take some of that time back and do something concrete with it. But those are phases that we go through. But I find it sad that there's so many of us who can't let go, like the aging boxer, the aging fighter, who he may be correct in knowing that he has one more fight left in him, even though people say, hey, you had a good career, you're getting older now. But he may or may not. And sadly, many of us have to find out the hard way. Just recently, Mike Tyson came back against Roy Jones. Roy Jones, I think it was 50 or 51. Mike Tyson is 54. But they both were top of the line when they were in their primes, and they know how to fight. So it's an even match because they have aged and gotten older. They have lost a step. And it was an event. And it was a very successful event. But what I'm afraid of is that that's going to stoke the fires of other people in their individual areas of what they like to do, and say, you know what? He did it. I can do it too. And this is one of the pitfalls of YouTube. YouTube erases time. When you can go back, and we didn't have that luxury back in the day. We can record something on a VCR and look at it. But now decades have gone by, and if anybody is in my age group or near my age group and understand the passage of time, you can put on a video from 1982, from 85, from 75, music and movies, and just click things, and it takes you right back there. And we tend to forget what time it really is. This is 2020, December. We're moving into 2021. But when you get caught up in an old music video from the late 70s, which those videos were very basic and may I say sometimes crude, it makes us feel as though we're there. Then we get on Facebook and we run across an old love, I'm just making this up. You run across an old love interest who you had a crush on, but nothing ever came out of that. And so you're talking about the good old days, and you're playing YouTube, and you're playing songs from around that time that reminded you of this young lady. Or you're playing songs from back at a time when you saw this aging gentleman, which you've gotten older too, but you don't see each other as you are. You cultivate these feelings of romance, which is something in your brain, and it hits you like a drug. It may not be anything that's real. It's only because you both are romanticizing about the good old days, and you're feeling younger because you are painting this illusion to each other, and you don't know how to let go. You can talk. It may even be something real. Things. Brother Lance, I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to, so that has nothing to do with knowing when to let go. But when I say knowing when to let go, we need to know when to let go to get to the other parts of our life that are just as sweet, if not sweeter. And if we can't let go of those older parts, like, okay, for me now, I've accepted and I've committed, and I know I'm a sweaty looking pig right now. I've accepted that social media and YouTube and these things are a part of my life. And I have committed to this, not YouTube per se, but using social media to bring us together as a people. And since I'm over here in the motherland now, living the rest of my life, I will share my experiences and encourage those, even if they have a desire to come here, to live forever, or just to visit, or gain something of a tremendous insight that CNN, Fox News, and the schools of propaganda are not going to share. So this is my mission, and it's going to evolve. I will always put out a lot of content, but I'm going to do it in a very efficient way. And I'm going to take this same towel and wipe across my eye. And again, when it fell, it hit grass. So it didn't hit dirt, y'all. So don't think I'm picking something up off of the dirt and putting it on my face. And you know what? So what if it did? You see how red this dirt is out here? How fertile it is? Trust me, if I could scoop up some of this dirt and send it to you and you plant something in it, you'll plant something in it one day and come home, there's a tree in your living room, right? But again, I'm shifting gears as we speak. I'm still doing videos. I'm still doing social media work. But I am opening the door for other parts of my life where I have more time. I have done things, all right, brother. I have done things to maximize my time, things that get put out automatically without me having to do it, things to share my content without me having to sit there and go click buttons and click buttons and click, because really clicking buttons is not going to get you out there if the content is not proper. Or just spamming people, meaning just sending things out to 1 million people. It's not going to work if they're not interested. You have to do it and let it take its own course. And I've been doing this for a number of years. And I'm not saying because I've been doing that for a number of years, I'm better than anybody else, but I know what I'm doing. If you take a guy in construction who's been doing it, how are you? All right. If you take a guy who's in construction, and he's been in construction for like over 20 years, like Brother Kwaku, and you take a guy who watched a few YouTube videos and read a few books and did maybe a couple of weeks of hands-on with a buddy, that does not compare. Because instinctively, a Brother Kwaku who knows everything about construction on all levels could look at something. And he pointed some things out to me and our architect the other day. And the architect knew a lot because he's hands-on. And these were things I didn't know. And I was just amazed to absorb the wisdom, the wise words. That's the new one now. Brother Quaco corrected us last night when we said wise or wisdom. He said, no, not wisdom, not freedom. You want to be free, or you want to absorb the wise words and you want to reason. Okay, so let me get this in my head, because words are spells, and words can keep you down if you repeat them over and over and over. Just like people who say, you know, I have no money. I have no money. Well, are you going to go for this goal next year of achieving this or purchasing this for the purpose of starting business? I have no money. I have no money. Well, then you're not going to live that dream. Not saying that you have to have money like that, but you're cursing yourself. Because if you need money for something, make sure you have it. Make sure, you know, you say, I hope to, or I plan on, or I will. And so there have been people in my life at different times that when you seek to achieve something that may require money, they come around and say, well, do you have money for that? What they're really saying is that you're not going to do it because from what I see, you have no money. And so even if you don't have the money, you tell them when they come around the little smart droppings of seeds of negativity to grow on you and make you not do it, you say, yes. Matter of fact, you don't know it, but I came into a whole lot of money. So it's just a matter of time before this happens. I'm taking my time. But the money issue is not an issue. And I'm not saying to front like you have lots of money and you're just saying this to look big. No, but you will kill that spirit around you, because to discourage you now, what are they going to say? Even if you have to front sometime. There's a boxer, former middleweight champion, Marvin Hagler. And he has been hit with some shots. He's a gentleman who fought Sugar Ray Leonard in his comeback in '87, I believe, and April of '87, because I had just come back from Jamaica then. And he retired after that because he felt he won the fight. But he was a great, great champion, marvelous Marvin Hagler, back in the '80s and '70s, right? In his career, he had some strong fighters that may have caught him flush, and he was never knocked down officially. I think when he fought Juan Roldan, their legs tangled up and he was on the floor, on the canvas, but it was a slip. But the people took a picture of that and it looked like he was knocked down. And some people, no, he was knocked down. No, that was a slip. But he would take these crushing blows. And at the end of the fight, they say, man, in the 7th round, you know, this particular fighter hit you so hard. Did it hurt? He said, well, what punch you talking about? See, I know it hurt. Everybody knew it hurt. He knew it hurt. But he wasn't getting himself into that mindset where, oh, yeah, it hurt. And the next person say, for the next bout, oh, I can hurt him. He's hurtable, you know. And so now that began to psych people out, like, no matter what you throw at this guy, you're not going to put him down. And he had it in his mind, too. No, it didn't hurt. I refuse to accept that it did, even when he felt it. And so his opponents had to deal with his strong mind and strong iron chin, which he did have. But some of them admitted that they threw everything that they had at him, and there's no way that he couldn't have hurt. So when it comes time for people to try to make you admit that you don't have any money, or you can't do this, or you're a little person, so you can never be a basketball player, or whatever, even though we know that's a physical thing, and that's not really the right thing for a person that size to try to do, unless it's against other people his size, don't make them stop you. But this goes to tell you, knowing when to let go. Knowing when to let go of some of these people who are around you who try to stop you from achieving, as long as it's within reason. And many of us, like I said, we can't let go because we're holding on to the past, or we don't have something else to look forward to. Now, when I was in Florida, and before that, New York City, there was a time when I was living in New York City, and I told people, I said, I'm never leaving this place. I'm never leaving New York City to go somewhere else in the country. Are you crazy? I went down to Florida and thought that I was going to have a certain type of life, and did. But then when it got more crowded, it got more like New York, it got more hustle and bustle. I was like, especially with the extreme racism, which I can handle, but I shouldn't have to handle. But I have a big mouth, and anybody came at me with anything or thinking I'm going to lay down, and just because you're of a certain pink hue, we have problems. Or you have problems. I have the challenge and you have the problem because I'm the problem to you. But even then, when long before, I had been talking about leaving the country for a long time. But many people thought I was yabba, 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 do. Yabba, 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 do. Many people out here run their damn mouth. And if you look at their track record in life, all they did was talk. And it was told back to me that many people felt that I was just running my mouth. Not just with that, but other things. My whole life has been about reinventing myself. And not even reinventing myself, because I am me and I am complete. But others would say that I reinvented myself, but I only pulled out something out of the hat that they never knew was in me. Especially this move, and especially for the reasons of wanting to enjoy an atmosphere that is not like that in America. And not running from America, because I don't run from anything, but leaving that place for something for me that's better, right? Knowing when to let go. And that's what I've done. I've let go. I don't dream in America no more. I don't think about really America anymore. I speak to my friends. We have FaceTime and we have, apps that we can call each other every single day. Heck, half the time, you might be living in the same city with friends of yours, and you don't see them. You don't visit them. I'm not that kind of person. If there's something I want to do, I know that my time on this level may not be forever in this form, so I'm going to do it. There are things that I have to do today that's going to take me higher for my life. Not higher than anybody or better than anybody, but to elevate my life and my lifestyle that I have to look into. That before January comes in, those plans will be intact and I'll be on that level that I desire to be. You're not going to make any progress in this life if you don't understand that you have to let go of one phase in order to embrace the new. So this is why my life right now has always been in a state of being new, always having something to look forward to. And we walk with the memories, and we can get nostalgic, and we can reminisce about some of the old things, but that doesn't mean we have to stay there. Now, if you want to have a 1970s party and play shaft music and, dress up with the Afro wigs and stuff like a good friend of mine and his wife, rest her soul, has done, that's nice. That's fun. That's not delusional. There's nothing wrong with that. You know where you stand, but you're going back for the sake of entertainment and amusement to have fun. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are still some people walking around with jerry curls. There are some people still walking around with bell-bottom pants. There are some people who are still walking around with those polyester outfits. They're stuck. They can't let go. And I know what that is. That when the time was around when they yearned for those things, and those things were the fashions, or those old Cadillacs, that when you open up the door of the Cadillac, the whole street gets blocked because the door is so long. It's like you're at a toll booth waiting. Man, close your door unless you're going to get it knocked off. Some guys I've known in the 90s and the early 2000s have gone back to purchase a car, a Cadillac or a Lincoln from the 1970s, and they may have had the money to fix it up, but in their mind, when they put in that 8-track player, I don't know where they found the 8-track tapes, cassettes, but in their mind, they got back at the time when they were yearning for those things, but those things are out of style. And that's sad, because it shows me you are stuck at a certain time in your life and you can't let go. Now, this is a dangerous thing, that when you're in a relationship that is abusive to you, denying you love, cut off, nothing going on. I don't mean just sex, but no dreams together, or where it's so easy for others to come in to your time and infiltrate and just want to wreck it up and watch it fall because they're insecure on what they have and they don't like what you have. You got to know when to let these people go. You got to know when to let situations go. Relationships sometimes and oftentimes end. If they don't evolve, it will end. If what you are in right now, I don't care what the relationship is, it could be the relationship with the mailman. I'm not saying anything wayward, but if every time he comes into your yard, he clears his throat and spits on the very steps of your home, and you know your kids are out there playing, after a while, he cannot come up in there anymore. So your relationship is going to change, right? So if we hold on to things, they become toxic and we go nowhere. And we're like that older guy with the cheap dye in his hair. We're like that woman who always wants to wear the yoga pants and tight form-fitting things, and she's obviously aging, and it just doesn't look right. And for them, it doesn't feel right. And unless they let those things go, they will not be able to embrace the new. So now I know I'm not limiting myself at all. I have an unlimited mind. I have unlimited potential as long as I'm on this earth. But I know that I am a man who they would consider middle-aged. It's not the age, but it's the wear and tear. But I'm very much a realist with who I am and what my capabilities are. And I'm more cerebral now than I ever been. I've always been that way. And I'm not going to say I'm less physical, but I'm taking care of the physical even more because that is how I get around. And I thank the Creator that for the most part, even in the days that I ate meat, even in the days that I ate junk food, after the times that I was training and trying to keep focus and keep my, self in shape, but I would sometimes eat some junk food afterward after I stopped training, that for the most part that I kept myself a certain way and I didn't let myself go and I preserved myself. And now that investment now is showing up on me now. But I'm not going to take it for granted because what I do today is basically what's going to show up tomorrow. And I don't mean just tomorrow, but 10 years from now. What I'm going to be 10 years from now is going to show up on me. What I was 10 years ago and what I was doing 10 years ago shows up on me now. So Mrs. SCURV with those wonderful meals, that's what's showing up on me right now. You understand? And I want to give a big shout out to Empress Ella G and I want her to share these pictures on Instagram, on her Instagram, and I'm going to share it on my Instagram. She used Mrs. SCURV's black veggie burger recipe with the beets, and it really looked good. And I'm going to take a flight to where you are, and I'm going to get some of that because it looked good, and I can tell that you're an excellent chef, and I know you followed every instruction to the T because I couldn't tell the difference. And see, this is what it is. Going and exploring, letting go of some things and opening yourself up to other things and having these new experiences. Every day, I have new experiences on purpose. If you have time and you're walking down the street, walk down the street behind you. Talk to the people who live there. Speak with them. Say hi. You never know who you'll meet. I'm meeting wonderful people every single day, and I would not be here meeting people if I was so hung up on nostalgia or the past of what I think could be because it happened before back in 1979. If certain things don't transpire in your life by a certain time, ditch it and embrace something that you can do, that you can be a winner. And take the experience from that old phase of your life and still live it. Look, if I was an old boxer and when I was younger, I was a champion, as I get older, the knowledge that I have and the experience that I have is great now as a sportscaster. Because I can tell you what those boxers are going through, what they're doing, and the little things that I see that I know from my experience, right? So now I've repositioned myself and I have great value now still. So we have to figure out, instead of trying to beat down the same old horse, what is it that we can do to reposition ourselves and keep ourselves relevant without beating down the same old horse and looking foolish and being ineffective in the process? Whether it's fashion, whether it's who we're trying to date and they're too young for us, whether it's admitting that we have gray hair, which I do have gray hair. I keep my hair shaved on purpose, and I'm afraid to grow it because maybe in certain areas it may not grow back, right? But I started cutting my hair back in I think it was the end of 1998 or the beginning of 99, for the sake of time. I didn't want to be bothered sitting down at a barbershop, and every time 2 or 3 days would go by, it would grow out a little bit and not look the way it was because my hair was growing fast. I'm like, you know what? I'm chopping this off. That way I don't have to worry about that at all. And it's been so many years, and if a couple days go by and I'm like, hey, wait a second, the hair here is growing faster than the hair there. But that doesn't matter. I am who I am now. I'm not the man I used to be when I was 20 years old on so many levels. And I embrace that. But then again, I'm At that point, I wasn't the man that I am now on so many other levels. So it's a trade-off because I learned to let go and know when it's time for things to be over and evolve. How many of us have that ability? How many of us are going to be hurt because we don't have that ability? How many of us are lying to ourselves and reducing the effectiveness or joy that can come to us in our life because we are thinking so narrow and thinking in one way that we were thinking years ago and didn't evolve? I'm a jolly old man right now. And I'm saying that being funny. I'm not an old man, right? And even when I'm an old man, I won't be an old man because my spirit will always be young. The vehicle, the vessel may be older, but I'm going to keep it tuned up, keep it oiled up, keep it well fed with great food. We'll see how long this run goes. I'm not worried, oh, I'm getting older, because the minute that you're born, guess what? You're getting older. The minute that you're born, you're moving closer to the thing called transition that other people call death that they're afraid of. It's a ride that we must enjoy every moment. If you're in the hospital right now, which I wouldn't want to be in a hospital, but if you had no choice but to be in a hospital right now, and you feel that you have something that may take you out of here and transition you, try your best. Crack jokes with the nurses. You know, have your family laughing and tell them things that they may not have known. If you're older than them and it's their grandkids or your sons or your daughters, tell them things and information that you didn't have time to share, that if you do transition, they won't have to wonder. And it's hard. It's a challenge. I understand that. But let's enjoy every single phase of our life. And when we get to those points, we'll understand that we will be quite content with what we've done. I am happy that I can come here to the Anthill almost every day. I mean, I may take Sunday off or Saturday off or whatever, but we have our other shows. We have other content. You know, I'm going to keep you full with content. It's like, God, dog, man, as soon as I finish, Lance has something else up. Oh, another interview. Oh, Miko again. Or him and LG, Mr. Political, Kimberly Cross Country, or whatever, right? And so many other names. Segment 7, King Ani. It's a rotation. And I enjoy this. And there may be times where the internet shuts down worldwide and we can't do anything. But I'll be recording stuff, right? And when we come back on, a little boom, you know I'll be doing something. But this phase, no matter how long it lasts, I just want to say I'm going to ride it out. Even as I develop other phases in my life that I can incorporate. And most what I do, I share. And so it has brought me great joy to be here. I'm not here to peek at other people's pages and argue with them or get into the drama or to get into it with trolls or me troll other people. And I'm doing what I need to do for myself. I'm doing what I need to do that brings me joy. And I'm doing what it is that brings me joy. And the joy that it really brings me is the fact that I can vibe with others here on a sincere level. I'm not here competing with anybody. I'm not here to try to whatever. This is where I'm supposed to be, and I'm doing what it is that I'm supposed to do. Bottom line, this is not a forced situation. I don't have a keep up with the Joneses mentality. Oh, look at him. I have to do this too. Please. I'm not trying to meet people here to rip them off or take their money. I'm not trying to, it's not a pissing contest with me, y'all. For me to do this every day, either I'm crazy or I'm passionate about what I do. And later on, we're going to do a show for a few hours at LG tonight. And I'm not going to make the mistake of having a missetting that cut the ability to have the calls coming off. I'm going to watch that bad boy before I set that show in stone. But that being said, the joy of knowing when to let go, especially in an area where you're least effective, you will gain when you have that next phase to go to. That's the beautiful part of it. It's not like you're letting go and walking off into the sunset to die. What else are you going to embrace? And this is what you have to think. When you have something that you're letting go, that you're not effective in anymore, long before that time comes, if you can admit that to yourself, what is it that you're going to embrace for the next phase? What are you leaping to? What are you aspiring to? And this is one of my secrets of keeping enthusiasm high, as opposed to being that dude, oh man, let's just go and watch the football game and drink some beer, man, and just, I don't know, man. You know, we old now. You know, we ain't, that old SCURV, man, he trying to do everything, man. I don't know what's wrong with him. He gonna find out. I'm not never going to be that, because there's always something, and that's my secret. There's always something to do. When you are on one level, it affords you a proximity to the trust of other people. When I was driving the bus, for years, people knew this guy's bloodstream has got to be clean with the amount of drug tests that they give these guys. He's got to be living right. His eyes are clear. He's not tired looking. He's not high. He's not obviously in a hangover stage trying to drive this bus. And so when they see you talk, or they see and find out what you do, because after a time, people would get on, man, I saw a video of yours from YouTube and somebody sent it to me on Facebook, man, I love what you do. And the whispers got out and people got to know what it is and what I'm all about. I'm no longer driving that bus, but if I was to go back to Orlando, Florida, and walk down to the bus depot, there'll be people there who open up to me, and not, oh, I used to know him a little bit or whatever, because they know what you're about. They know your character, right? So I have evolved. I am the same person on that respect, but I have evolved where I have new extensions of my life and new extensions of my personality to pursue. And I love it. And understand that you don't have to hold on to something that you already have. Once you've created a history and a legacy on one level, you always have that. So when you move on, that's another thing on your resume of what you did. And now let's see what else you can do, because you're proven already in some other area. But if you don't know how to let go, you're going to stay in that thing for so long, you'll get stagnant, and you will be in that thing that you've been in so long that you will become irrelevant. And I don't mean relevant as far as social media, because I don't care if it's 2 hits I get in this video or 1 million. I'm going to keep putting out what I need to put out, because on this day, on this hour, this minute, this second, this time, from where I stand, I will never have that opportunity again. And I'm going to drop these nuggets until I transition, even if it's another anthill I have to go by, or I can't find any others, or there's anthills on my property. So there'll always be an anthill chronicle, and that will be my personal anthill. I think we have 2, and they're not as big as this one, but they're beautiful, and I don't want to knock them down. It's a monument, and where it's positioned is one that will be in the area of the front yard, not too close to the house, and that'd be a beautiful thing to live there, or have there, and let it get bigger. Let it become a monument. Let it get 10 feet tall. Let it get 15 feet tall. That's unique. That's how you appreciate life and nature. And that's why we have to coincide. And that's why I don't have the spirit of the enemy, or that DNA of the enemy where I want to destroy nature. Let the anthill stay, right? To me, it's a status symbol. To me, it's a spiritual connection with nature in a way. And I don't know what it is. I just love this anthill. I'm going to get closer to it. I'm going to probably go up on that little ledge, but I don't want to make it seem like I'm some peeping Tom, because there's a wall there and that people live behind there, right? So I don't want it to be where, what are you doing with this camera, whatever. So I'm going to knock the door and say, hey, this is what I do. I want to get right close up on it, you know. But then to wrap it up, like I say, know when to let go, but as you let go, look forward to something else. Look within yourself and see what it is that you'd like to do. Look within yourself and see what it is that you can do, maybe something that's related to your prior endeavors. But if you stay with one thing too long, you might run the risk of becoming stagnant and irrelevant, and you'll be missing out on so much more life that you have to have ahead of you that is just so beautiful. Right now, I can't tell you how beautiful being out here is. Every single day, the breeze, the peace, the quiet, the clarity of thought that it brings. Not being around the craziness of America, you know. All right, take care. The craziness of America, the psychic battles dealing with racist people, and those battles of status. And I've never indulged in those battles myself. But to have it around you and to have it levied against you, and you have to defend yourself. This is not the fight that I want, but I got to defend myself now. I got to keep these people off me. Get away from me. I don't want to be around you. Now, we have some out here who may have the potential for that spirit, but I can spot it a mile away, and it will never be an issue, because, like Muhammad Ali said, you can't hit what you can't see. If you're way over there and I'm way over here, you could hate me all you want. You can try to get into my business all you want. You can try to climb up online and change your name and see what you can find out and all that stuff, I'm on top of you. You can't do it. As long as I keep you away, you can scheme all you want with your negativity and it will never happen, right? Never happen. But how long do you have on this earth? See, I don't have time for those things because I know I can be here today and gone tomorrow. And so many people in their arrogance, they forget this, that they're here today. And this may be the last time the sun shines on their living body. But they wasted the time with foolishness against someone else, which they're letting those seeds of greatness that were gifted to them go to waste. And you're going to have to be accountable for that. So if you can't let go of the petty resentments, the jealousies, the envies, the insecurities, you're not going to destroy me with it. You're going to destroy yourself because I am in my lane and I have a tremendous momentum right now. And I know how to let go of old things that are not good for me anymore. And I know how to embrace the new, not just because it's the new. I'm going to research and make sure it's something edifying to my existence. And that's how we do. Anyway, much love to my sisters. Salute to my warrior brothers. Let's keep putting down the work brick by brick, stone by stone. Every day we must move closer to our goals. If we don't have a goal or a vision, detach from the world around you for a time, meditate, heal up, and come up with something that you know that you want to do, and that's in your destiny. And you can only learn that when you talk to yourself. Those words I live by, and I can guarantee you that it always works. I would not lie to you. Anyway, thank you for your time. LANCESCURV out, on to the next one. Let's build the black family, the black community, the black infrastructure, the world over. And even when we build it, we're going to have to learn to get over the petty things and differences that the oppressor has put in our mind and come together as one people. And if we come together as one people, look how awesome and mighty we would be. So we have to reject the separatism and the things put out in the media that make us look like we're or feel different or better or we're not a part of. No, none of us is better than the other. We're all part of the same mechanism. And our melanin brings us together, and we have no choice. We can't fight it. If you fight it, you have no choice anyway. Our unity, and the enemy knows it, is inevitable, and that's why he fights so hard to keep us apart. LANCESCURV out, on to the next one. Thank you so much. Leave your comments below, like and share. I love, it's just so beautiful. Right now, I can't tell you how beautiful being out here is. Every single day, the breeze, the peace, the quiet, the clarity of thought that it brings, not being around the craziness of America, you know? All right, take care. The craziness of America, the psychic battles dealing with racist people and those battles of status. And I've never indulged in those battles myself, but to have it around you and to have it levied against you, and you have to defend yourself. This is not the fight that I want, but I got to defend myself now. I got to keep these people off me, get away from me. I don't want to be around you. Now we have some out here who may have the potential for that spirit, but I can spot it a mile away and it will never be an issue because, like Muhammad Ali said, you can't hit what you can't see. If you're way over there and I'm way over here, you could hate me all you want. You can try to get into my business all you want. You can try to climb up online and change your name and see what you can find out and all that stuff. I'm on top of you. You can't do it. As long as I keep you away, you can scheme all you want with your negativity and it will never happen, right? Never happen. But how long do you have on this earth? See, I don't have time for those things because I know I can be here today and gone tomorrow. And so many people in their arrogance, they forget this, that they're here today. And this may be the last time the sun shines on their living body. But they wasted the time with foolishness against someone else, which they're letting those seeds of greatness that were gifted to them go to waste. And you're going to have to be accountable for that. So if you can't let go of the petty resentments, the jealousies, the envies, the insecurities, you're not going to destroy me with it. You're going to destroy yourself because I am in my lane and I have a tremendous momentum right now. And I know how to let go of old things that are not good for me anymore. and I know how to embrace the new, not just because it's the new. I'm going to research and make sure it's something edifying to my existence. And that's how we do. Anyway, much love to my sisters. Salute to my warrior brothers. Let's keep putting down the work brick by brick, stone by stone. Every day we must move closer to our goals. If we don't have a goal or a vision, detach from the world around you for a time, meditate, heal up, and come up with something that you know that you want to do, and that's in your destiny. And you can only learn that when you talk to yourself. Those words I live by, and I can guarantee you that it always works. I would not lie to you. Anyway, thank you for your time. LANCESCURV out, on to the next one. Let's build the black family, the black community, the black infrastructure, the world over. And even when we build it, we're going to have to learn to get over the petty things and differences that the oppressor has put in our mind and come together as one people. And if we come together as one people, look how awesome and mighty we would be. So we have to reject the separatism and the things put out in the media that make us look like we're or feel different or better or we're not a part of. No, none of us is better than the other. We're all part of the same mechanism, and our melanin brings us together, and we have no choice. We can't fight it. If you fight it, you have no choice anyway. Our unity, and the enemy knows it, is inevitable, and that's why he fights so hard to keep us apart. LANCESCURV out, on to the next one. Thank you so much. Leave your comments below, like and share. I love you all unconditionally, and it will always be that way. Peace.